What's up, Keep Pounding crew? We're back today with another video. Keep pounding! Today's topic is post-game for the Indianapolis Colts game in preseason week 1. If you like the video, if you like the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, select all, leave a comment down below, and let's dive on in. Before we get started, don't forget to let me know if you are interested in the Fantasy Football Yahoo League for the Keep Pounding League. We will just be doing it for fun for right now. No rewards this time, but the top 3 winners will get a signed letter from me saying thank you for participating and congratulations on getting top 3 or winning. So if you'd like to be involved in that, please do leave a comment down below or check out the Facebook page, Keep Pounding in all caps, for more details. Thank you very much, and let's dive on in. Lots to cover today. So we're going to start with the quarterback position. That's a hot topic right now. The battle between P.J. Walker and Will Greer. Now, I'd like to call to your attention the passing attempts and how many times the ball was run during this game, during the second half, versus P.J. Walker's attempts. So, in other words, you cannot get a very accurate idea of how good Will Greer really is until you see more than 10 attempts. We were mostly running Brown, so there's no way to know. Will Greer only had 10 attempts, 6 catches out of the 10, and he got sacked once. Yes, he should have been sacked twice. He did hold on to the ball a little too long. That is one of his weaknesses. All of the weaknesses and strengths were put on tape during this game. I want to point that out very clearly before I call out P.J. Walker's numbers. Now, P.J. Walker, his weaknesses are the overthrow on the deep ball, which you saw a good chunk of. He also overthrows some of the medium range balls as well, which I've been calling out for a good long while on this channel. His numbers are 10 for 21, 161 yards, and a touchdown. Now, some of these drives were dead because of false starts, holding, and one illegal formation penalty as well. You're talking about 10 penalties overall in the entire game. So keep that in mind too. But you also saw P.J. Walker's strengths, which is the fact that he was calm and cool under pressure. He wasn't rattled. When he did deliver the ball, it was accurate in short game. But I also want to point to the fact that a lot of quarterbacks can play the short game easily. Pretty much most of them. And make their numbers look good. It's the deep ball. That's where you want to pay attention to P.J. Walker, because throughout camp this year, he's been really struggling with that, which isn't new, but it's gotten worse. If you haven't seen my prior videos on this, go check those out with the camp recorded videos. Because I've pointed it out many, many times, and on stream a few times as well. Now, even so, you're still looking at an 89.6 quarterback rating for today. So, how did our quarterbacks compare today? The question is, we still don't have an accurate number 2 quarterback right now. And that's the problem. So for now, I'm reading that section of B minus until I know for sure. Running back, B minus. Now, the reason I say that is because you have Chuba Hubbard with about 7 carries for about 80 yards. Now, the one I want to point out is Brown, the running back that we used a good chunk of in the third and fourth quarter. Chuba looks solid. He broke a few tackles. He looked good. But my issue with him is those wide receiver drops. So that's why I've got to take points off for that. Rodney Smith, however, I don't believe that I saw him go out for very many catches, but those that he did catch, I think he did decently well with. And that's what I'm looking to see. Yeah, he had 1 catch for 26 yards. So there you go. That was a big play for him. So overall, running backs, that's okay. You're looking at Brown, who had 9 carries for 25 yards, 2.8 average, versus Chuba Hubbard, who had an 11.4 average. Neither one of these guys got a touchdown. Neither one of these guys really broke out with anything big except for Chuba, with the one run for 59 yards. And that's what raised his average up a little bit, But still, the 7 carries for 80 yards should translate to a very, very good average, regardless of the 59 yards. Moving on to wide receivers. Obviously, the starters did not play, so you did not see Robbie Anderson. You did not see any of the starters at all. So, who did we see? We saw Terrace Marshall. 3 catches for 88 yards, targeted 5 times. Trimble, you saw targeted. That's the tight end. We'll get to that position in a minute. David Moore, targeted 2 times, 26 yards. But the one I want to catch everyone's attention with is Shi Smith. The 1 catch for 26 yards was massive in keeping that drive alive. So, that in mind, we also saw Zylstra and Simon targeted. Zylstra was targeted 3 times in that first half and overthrown all 3 times by P.J. Walker. Which, again, I'm pointing out those overthrows. So, that brings me to a B minus for wide receivers. I would be convinced to do a solid B because of the catching and yards after the catch. I could be convinced. You didn't see any drops, really. They look good. So, tight ends, B. And here's why I say B. Tommy Trimble looked okay. Yeah. so-so day. But here's the thing. Richie. I don't think that was a fumble when Richie ended up with that fumble, to his credit. Which means that whole Barnum and Bailey circus event that went on after that shouldn't have happened. That is my opinion. I know I'm going to get roasted for that, and I do not care. And I understand that the ref's decision is the ref's decision at the end of the day. I get it. It's final. And I know that people are going to have different opinions on that. I get that too. Keep it respectful in the comment section if you would, please. But feel free to share your opinion on that if you think I'm wrong. I have no problem with that. If you make a good point, I'll shout you out in the next video. So, let me know. What do you think should have happened there? What could have happened had that not been a fumble? We may have had a couple of run plays. We may have had a third down where Will Greer would have to throw the ball on third down and try to convert again. Who knows what would have happened there? So, and what yardage that might have been. Keeping that in mind, as of right now, I could definitely be convinced of a B or a B plus on that grade. Because the wide receivers did look pretty decent. But Richie, decent day. More of a run blocker. Tommy Tremble looked better than he did. I mean, let's be real. But that fumble play, the reason why that's important is because that changes the entire scope of a position battle during preseason. It can put one player on the practice squad versus a 55-man roster. So that's why I'm pointing that one out. O-line. B. I could be convinced to go B plus on that, but the problem is the false starts. I had to take off for those. I had to take off for the holding call. I had to take off for the illegal substitution, the illegal formation. Actually, that was a wide receiver that did that, so, I don't hold that against him. But Brady Christensen did well, I feel like. Except for that false start that got blamed on the tight end. It is what it is. But everybody knows who did it. Even Steve Smith said, everybody knows who did it. So, keeping that in mind, those false starts probably accumulated about 6, probably 7 out of the 10 penalties that you saw today. But they were done all across the board of the offensive line in every position, except for center. So you saw it in the guard and tackle positions, left and right. Which tells me there's a discipline issue. That could be mechanics. It could be how these guys line up. I suggest that we do a drill where we do 7-on-7 and just only test the lines. Maybe 5-on-5 drill and only test the lines, against a live opponent, maybe the Baltimore Ravens when we had joint practices, and let's just test these guys out, Have them try to make our guys jump. Blast the music, during this drill. Let's try that. Some of these guys learn a different way than just running laps when they make mistakes. So let's try that instead. You never know, it might work. My suggestion only, if you don't want to take it, you don't have to, management, but it's there. It's advice, it's an option. Give it a shot. We tried everything else, I think. So, defensive tackle, B minus. I felt like there were a lot of run plays that we could have showed some grit and lessened that average number by a good number. Percentage. So I want to point out that particular run percentage that they had on us, which was they had 36 total rushing plays against us. There's a reason for that. We ended up giving up a grand total of 117 yards rushing. But notice that average of rushing yards for us, 5.6 versus their 3.3. Now that's got to tell you, our running backs are doing more with that time and those running plays than theirs are. However, when you look at third down efficiency, let's look at this percentage. 56.3 for the Colts today on third down efficiency versus our, wait for it, 21.4. Wah, wah, wah. That's a problem, ladies and gentlemen. 3 for 14. Yikes. Some of that was penalties. Some of that was us not getting the completions that we need to get past that first down chain. We may have been dumping it off to short passes, to a tight end or something like that. We just didn't get it done with Will Greer. Excuse the yawn on video. I'm tired. It's late. It's been a long day. But there's a few more point numbers that I want to point out to you. Red zone efficiency. 1 for 4 for us. Here we go again, folks. We're still not fixing that problem in our depth. So, I don't know. I don't know what that tells you right there, but we had 2 rushing touchdowns given up. And if you've seen Big Cat's video on our very new guy, Mr. Hyman, he will tell you that in that particular situation, when he guesses run and he commits to it, then he's going to get in there and get nitty gritty. And he'll stop the run. Oddly enough, he was one of the 2 that did not fill the gap and overextended, giving the Colts an easy walk-in touchdown from Sam Ehlinger and also from their running back. Now, Scott Chandler is the other one. Now, Chandler is going to be your situational guy when you want to prevent big runs, but he's going to give up 3. He's going to give up 3 yards a carry, typically. 2 to 3 yards a carry. You don't want him in goal line situation because he's not going to be able to plug up those goal lines. He was only able to successfully do it once in that fourth quarter, and they gave him the first down anyway. Against all of our beliefs that was not a first down. Or some of our beliefs. So, defensive tackle wise, I saw some grit out there, but I didn't see enough grit, which is okay. You know, it's a good start. But let's dig in. Let's get into the trenches. Let's, take another look at these guys. And I think we're going to find some success. I like Bravion Roy. I think he did a great job today. And I feel like, they're making the tackles they should. So overall, B minus. I got no problem giving them a B if they didn't give up that big run. So I think that's a solid position for us. Defensive end. Now we started out strong at defensive end, and then we started tapering off. We started out strong in the second half at defensive end, and we started tapering off. And then we put the heat on in the fourth quarter, towards the end of the fourth quarter. Which is typically Panthers defense right there from past coverages. And, pass rushing. So, that's not new to our way of doing things, You want to see 4 whole quarters of that. That's what you want to see, but, ideally, you're probably only going to get 2 as a total in the entire game from our guys. So, you take them where you can. There were a lot of good plays that happened in this game, particularly from the defensive ends. And again, we didn't see Brian Burns out there. You didn't see the main guys. So who you did see was Marquise Haynes. He stood out. Clearly, he stood out with the strip sack. And the fumble, which really helped us out a lot. I think, we're looking good. We're not looking great, but looking good. We got some work to do there. So we'll keep an eye on that position. Still some position battles going on in the defensive end right now. I think it's worth watching. Corner, B minus. However, I will say that Ladarius Wiley had a big day. I think Troy had an okay day. He got burned a lot. Stanley Thomas Oliver as well. But part of that is not their fault. It's Phil Snow's defensive coverage play calling. The rest of it is on them. They've got to be able to react. They've got to be able to shut down these plays and make these pass deflections when they get a chance to. You only get so many opportunities at pass deflections. You got to take them. Tackling wise, happy with it. They made the tackles when they were supposed to. I did see a few missed tackles from Stanley Thomas Oliver, but overall, I'm not complaining. I think if I were to say who won that battle today between Stanley Thomas Oliver and Troy Pride Jr., I got to give it to Stanley Thomas Oliver. By a slight edge. And Troy Pride went down with a knee injury. So we'll see how that plays out. We may not get word until middle of the week on that, but I will be posting in the Keep Pounding Facebook page whenever we do get word on that. Now, other cornerback battles. You got Julius. And I never did see Hartsfield today. I don't think he made the trip. So therefore, overall, the corners looked okay. I think we got a solid group. Wiley had a big day today. I want to point out his stats real quick because it's important to note what Wiley can do. He had 4 solo tackles by himself, 2 tackles for a loss, and a pass deflection today. Big day for this man right here. He stood out to me. Now here's another 2 stats that I want to point out. Troy Pride Jr., 5 tackles by himself, unassisted. And you love seeing the 0 in that column. Same with Christian Miller. 3 tackles by himself, 0 assists. It's great to have these guys have help, but, if they don't, it's also great to know that they can handle themselves in open field tackling without a problem. You got Celestin and Julius leading the way with 7 combined tackles, but Celestin had 5 by himself. So, keeping that in mind, I think this is going to be a very, very interesting position battle there on defense. And we're going to get back to the quarterback rating. The pass attempts and completions in a minute. But I want to complete this. So, corners get a B- for me. Linebackers C+. Christian Miller, I could be convinced with a B- with Christian Miller. He was very solid. Luvu was solid as well. He had a great day. You know what? I'm going to change that to a solid B. To reflect that. Now, the reason why I had to take off points is because of a few issues with coverage and a couple of missed tackles. So, that is going to be a concern. And the fact that they were out of position, giving Sam Ehlinger some wide open space to run it. And I've been warning people on stream about Sam Ehlinger during the draft time. This man can sit in the pocket and shred your defense, but he can also run and shred your linebackers as well. So, do not underestimate Sam Ehlinger. He's one of the most underrated quarterbacks out there right now, in my opinion. Just quietly doing his thing, staying under the radar. And just so you guys know, this man went 10 for 15, 155 yards. Yet he did throw an interception. He does do that. So, from time to time. But, he's solid, I feel like. And he's a very, very big threat. TJ Carey was the other person I was worried about on the Colts depth chart. And I'm surprised to see him in second string. And the reason for that is beyond me right now. I'm still trying to figure it out for the same reason that Gross Matos wasn't starter. So, maybe they wanted to give the man more reps. I don't know. Beats me. If you guys know, drop a comment down below. Let me know why you think that might be. So, but Sam Ehlinger is one of those quarterbacks that is not afraid to attack you and go after you. That being said, when you look at TJ Carey on the defense of the Colts, this man is very, very capable of getting a lot of pass deflections, and he got a forced fumble today. So, I gave a few multiple warnings about him in the stream yesterday. So, just to give you an idea of what we were dealing with him. And we were very lucky that he was not playing in the second half. Otherwise, he definitely would have gotten an interception off of Will Greer with the underthrows that he so often throws in training camp this year. I guess PJ, you're likely to see more overthrows and out of the wide receiver's reach than a pick. So that was just to let you know who TJ is. Moving on. Free safety, we got B. Strong safety, we got B. I had no problem with that. I felt like those guys were doing their job properly and they got their tackles, it's rare whenever I give a B plus for a safety, unless it's Jeremy Chan, or somebody like that. So, special teams A, I was very, very impressed with the long snapper who got that pick. The fumble recovery, not pick. So, yeah, I don't remember any time of that ever happening. So, congrats to him. Coaching A, I felt like Coach Rule did a great job. Effort was definitely a B plus. We looked good out there. At times we got kind of lackadaisical. Took some plays off, but it is what it is. Discipline B minus on the offensive line. That I got to take points off of